So when it says f of x, it just means the f function depends on what you put in for x. And this is the function basically, right? So when it says f of 2, it means we're putting 2 in for x. So you just do 3 times 2 minus 4, right? 3 times 2 minus 4, just plug 2 in right there, and that would be 2. Okay, if I said what's g of 2, what would that equal? Feel free to answer. G of 2 would equal what?
2. Oh, thanks. Wait.
You guys not following this?
What it equals.
This is
Plus 1.
Hold on. Let me
G of 2 equals 2 plus 1.
That's what I said.
3. Okay, anyways. So, and what if you want like, what's g of 2 plus f of 2, okay? So you could just add those two together, right? That plus that. If you said, what's g of 2 plus f of 2? Well, yeah.
How quickly did you finish this lesson with the other class?
Okay, but here's the trick. If we add these two functions together, if we add these two functions together, this is the notation, f plus g of x. That's how you write it. If I add these two together, it'd be 3x minus 4 plus, this actually is number 1. 3x minus 4 plus x plus 1. Okay, which simplifies to what? Does this simplify?
Yes.
Yes. You can add like terms, right? 3x plus x, 4x minus 4 plus 1 is negative 3. That's the answer to number 1.
So do we need to show that?
Okay, here, I'm not gonna, no.
No.
No. On number 2, yeah, on the evens, yeah, go ahead and do it. Okay, but here's the thing. What if I plugged in, remember I was plugging 2 in to those two functions earlier?
Yes.
What if I plug in 2 to this added function?
8 minus 3.
That equals 5. Okay, this is not number 1, by the way. It equals 5, which is, look at that, that would be the sum of the two f of 2 and g of 2 added together. 2 plus 3 is 5.
Would the showing the work mean that I had to like put it in like the
Just like this,
okay.
this right here.
And that's it?
That's
Then
it.
I can like
That's it. There's a couple problems, there's not really anything to
So
simplify.
the answer is 4x minus 3.
Yeah. This is extra for me to explain why you would want to do this. If you simplify the function, you don't have to plug it in both functions, you just plug it in to the simplified function and it makes it easier. Okay. Number 3. So what do you guys think number 3 means? Subtract those two functions, h and g. So the h function, let me zoom out here. The h function was the larger function, 2x squared minus x minus 3. Okay, if we're subtracting the g function, we're subtracting x plus 1. But we're not just subtracting x, we're subtracting all of it. So it's like distributive property. That's why I put the parentheses in here. So it's not just minus x, it's minus x minus 1.
So just to clarify, we don't have to show work on only us.
Can you shut up?
Yeah. Okay, so
Nicely he answers you, but if I said that, he'd be like, rude. And he's not disagreeing.
but you ask every day, like 2 or 3 times a
Okay, she
day.
just asked 3 times in 5 minutes.
You're annoying.
I don't think it has different questions either.
Okay. Anyways, we can only add and subtract like terms. Does 2x squared go with anything? No, so that just stays there. We have a minus x, minus x,
No x.
minus
Stupid idiot.
minus
Oh,
2x.
I'm so sorry.
Negative 1x minus 1x is negative 2x. And then we have a negative 3 minus 1. Negative 3 minus 1. Negative 4.
Let's go, baby grill.
That's it.
I'm good. Would you quit yapping?
Okay, number 5. What do you guys think that one means?
Five. Oh, multiplication.
Okay, multiplication. So F was it's kind of like number 1 except for we're multiplying this time. Number 6 is a little bit harder because one of the functions is a 3-term function, but this is just this is just a FOIL problem, right? F times G. Shh. So the first would be 4x times x. The outside is 4x times 1. Shh. The inside is negative 3 times x. And then the last is negative 3 times 1.
Oh my goodness.
Remember when you FOIL, those two are usually like terms, so add them together.
I'm not.
Calm
Don't you
down.
ever say that again.
You have to calm down.
My bad, Jesus.
What do you guys think we're supposed to do on number 7? Divide.
Answer my question.
Okay, it's almost the same thing as the last time, but we're dividing. Does that simplify?
Yeah.
No,
No.
not really. You kind of, we could try long division, it just wouldn't. It would not be helpful. Like x goes into 4 times, and then, you don't have to do this. Don't do this. Actually, the remainder is negative 7. They're not going to do that to you, so
How am I supposed to FOIL this?
it does not divide. So just leave it like this. Number 8, however.
Oh my gosh, that's what you just said. Willow.
Number
Moss.
Okay. Tell her to shut it.
number 8. I do want to look at this one.
Sorry.
Use game in a piece.
Okay, h is the larger function. It's the 2x squared one. I'm getting these functions from the directions, if you guys haven't noticed. The g is x plus 1.
I see them. Forward three.
Okay, does this divide?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're doing an x squared function divided by x function. That's going to work better. So there's actually 3 ways to do this, and in the past we've used long division, synthetic division. Probably kind of forgot both of those, but you remember doing them. But actually, on this lesson, probably this whole chapter, you can also use factoring if it comes out nicely, and I believe it will come out nicely on all these.
Yes.
So we can use factoring. So what goes into 2x squared? 2x times x. And what goes into negative 3? Negative 3 times 1. Or 1 times negative 3. And remember how to check this. Does the outside, inside of the FOIL add up to the middle term? 2x minus 3x equals negative 1x. Yeah, that's factored. Okay. Now, this only works if it divides perfectly, but what happens when I have this over this?
Oh.
The x plus 1's cancel out. Okay, so the answer is just 2x minus 3.
So just for reference, we don't need to show work on this one.
Don't ask the master.
They suck.
You're the only one that
Well,
has to show.
well.
See, I asked him. I thought you were asking how much it all asked.
Hmm?
Go back to where you came
You know,
from.
we don't have to show her?
I said on number 1,
We're not
the odds.
racist.
Then I said on the evens you do.
We are.
Okay, the book wrote something else though. Why would they put this? Why can x not equal negative 1?
Because they want to be different.
Because it does not equal.
Because if it was, then the denominator over here would be 0. You can't divide by 0, remember? So it's kind of a little, this is the answer, except for x can't, -1 can't be used for x. Because even though we simplified it to just this, over here on the original, -1 would work. So they put a little qualifier on it. Number 9. Okay, number 9 is new. Like it's not just adding and subtracting and stuff. Okay, that's not an O or a 0 or anything. That's just a little tiny circle. So the way you would read this is f of g of x. Okay. Another way it is sometimes written is this, f of g of x. This kind of gives you a better picture of what's going on. So g of x means x is what goes into the g function, right? So if you have f of g of x, the g function is going to go into the f function. It's kind of like substitution. So the g function is going to go into the f function. So let me rewrite those real quick. Was it 3x minus 4 and x plus 1? Whew. So the g, those are both closed, right? You made me really warm.
We got a window.
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to open the window.
I have this one water bottle that's frozen.
It says do not open because it's broken.
No.
Just gonna stay here for a minute.
I have a special water bottle.
Yeah, 'cause I got bangs.
Can you get my special water bottle?
Sure.
Oh, great.
It's a water bottle.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you guys remember substitution, right? So g of x, this x plus 1 thing, is going to go into the f function where x used to be, right there. So it's going to be 3 parentheses x plus 1 minus 4. So it's 3, or well, doesn't really matter where I put it, I guess. X plus 1 minus 4. Easy peasy, right? You guys see what happened? The g function, we picked everything that g was and put it in for x into the other function. G into the f function. Does this simplify though? Of course it does. We can do distributive property and put those two together. So that is the final.
I think this is like cool from someone maybe.
Okay, number 11, this is actually like the hardest of these, but it's h of g of x. So the h function was, I keep forgetting, 2x squared plus 2x minus 1, question mark?
Minus x minus 3.
Minus x minus 3? Not even close, I wouldn't be close. Okay, so we're going to take the g of function again and put it into the h function. So here's the g function again. Now, where am I going to put it in this function? For both spots, both x's. So this is going to be rewritten as 2 times x plus 1 squared minus x plus 1 minus 3. So 2 times x plus 1 squared minus x plus 1 minus 3. I just replaced the x's with x plus 1's in parentheses. There and there. Does this simplify? Yeah, quite a bit actually, because x plus 1 squared, what does that mean? Means x plus 1 times x plus 1, so it's a FOIL problem. So, does order of multiplication matter? No. We could multiply the 2 out, like distribute it like that first, or we could FOIL first. I'm gonna FOIL first, I guess. And I'm gonna do it in my head, because I'm pretty sure you guys know how to FOIL. So it'd be x squared plus 2x plus 1. And now I'm going to distribute the 2. And also I'll distribute the minus on that. So it's minus x minus 1. And put the like terms together. 2x squared, I got 4x minus x is 3x. And plus 2 minus 1 minus 3 is minus 2. 12 is actually a lot easier than that one. You only have to plug x in one, or the function in one x. Alright. Okay, are you guys looking at 13? Because there's not a lot to write on the board on this one.
Yeah. Isn't that bad?
Yeah, it's no, 13 is actually really easy once you know how to do it. So, let me write.
Listen, if I got it wrong,
That's called
Liz got there. Oh, have you done 6?
I haven't done anything.
Of course, have you done 6?
We done 6.
Who hasn't done
What'd you get?
6?
What'd you get?
Listen, it doesn't matter.
I don't think
Did you
we
get
did
a longer answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like to the 3rd
Yeah.
power?
Yeah, you have to do did you do the h function, the x squared, the 2x squared function times? You have to do the 2x squared minus x minus 3 times 3x minus 4. It's like a double, it's not a FOIL, it's a double distribute problem. You have to multiply 3x minus 4 times. Okay, anyways, you guys see what's different on number 13?
Yes.
They put a 1 right there instead of an x, so that's part of the difference. So what this means, here's another way to look at it. We need to figure out what g of 1 is. And whatever that answer is, we're going to do f of that. So what is g of 1? Well, they didn't write a function for g on 13. In the directions, it says g equals, over on the right side, g equals 0, 4, 1, 2, 2, 0. Okay, that means for the g function, if you put 0 in for x, 4 should come out. If you put 1 in for x, 2 should come out. If you put 2 in for x, 0, and so on. So g of 1 means if we put in 1 for x, what comes out for the g function? 2. You guys see where we got that from? If you put 1 in for x in the g function, 2 should come out. Because it says 1, 2 in that list. If you plug in 1 for x, 2 comes out. So g of 1 is worth 2. So it like turns into a 2. So that means we need to figure out what f of 2 is. So then you go to the f function, look at the 2, what does 2 turn into? 3, because the last thing in the f equals says 2, 3. So the final answer is 3. Okay, you do not need to show work on this one.
Any of these?
In this section, yes. That'd be kind of hard too. I didn't really even show her. Then 15. Okay, this one says g plus f of 0. So basically, we're just going to figure out what is g of 0, what's f of 0, and we're going to add those together. So what is g of 0? 4, because it says 0, 4. What is f of 0? 1, because it says 0, 1. So altogether we have 4 plus 1. So it's 5. Okay, if you're confused, that's fine. I can help give you a visual of what's going on. So 17, what's happening on 17? Multiplying, right? So we need, what's g of 2 times what's f of 2? So what's g of 2? 0, 0, yeah. What's f of, well, if one of them 0, 0 times anything, it's going to be 0. But f of 2 is -1, or sorry, I did the wrong one too. F of 2 is 3, so 0 times 3 is 0.
Good point. Sorry. Good point, Greg.
Okay. 19 is kind of the same as the 1 through, there's one extra step. It's kind of like 1 through 12 section. What's f plus h of x? So you have to look all the way at the top of the directions. F is okay, the f function at the top says 2x minus 1 plus the h says x squared plus 3x minus 2. Man, that thing turns off for like 2 seconds. Cannot get a break. Okay, and then add your like terms together. X squared is by itself, so we have 3x plus 2x is 5x. And minus 1 and a minus 10 plus a minus 10 minus 11. Okay, so that's the A answer. Okay, well, we'll just do B on this one. I don't really care if you do B on the other ones. So,
So we don't have any others? What's going on?
yes, that's what I just said. Okay, what they want you to show on B, what they wanted you to show, is that if you plug in an x value over here and over here, they're still equal. Like, these two things are equal. So, like, does f of 3 plus h of 3, is that the same thing as f plus h of 3? Like, this is the simplified version of those two added together. If I plug in 3 here and here and add them together, is that the same thing as plugging in 3 into the simplified answer? And it should be yes. So if I plug in 3 there, 6 minus 1 is 5. Plug in 3 there, 9 plus 9, 18 minus 10 is 8. 13. If I plug in 3 here, 9 plus 15 is 24 minus 11 is 13 also. So it works, okay?
So you just guess.
Well, they should all work, but they're just trying to show you the connection between, like, plugging in 3 to the originals and adding together, same thing as plugging in 3 to the simplified function. Okay, but for the rest of these, that's okay. We can just do the A part. 21, f times g of x. 2x minus 1, x plus 5. Alright. That's another FOIL. First, 2x squared. I'm going to kind of do some of this in my head. Outside is 10x. Inside minus 1x. It's 9 x's. And then the last, negative 1 times 5. Whew. Melty. 23, h divided by g. Okay. H is x squared plus 3x minus 10.
I think he died.
Did we lose Eli?
He's not responsible.
Have you been resuscitated?
Yes. He's allergic.
Is it the heat?
Yes. He's gonna die.
Redheads aren't made for anything over 50 degrees.
No.
Yeah,
You only have a
Ginger's
10,
more
like, Fahrenheit, like truly like, like above 50 you die, below 40 you also die. Like, you only got 10.
It's got a single range. A small range.
Okay, G is x plus 5. Alright, do you guys remember how I did this one earlier? This is like number 8, I think. How did I do this earlier? Factoring. Because what's going to happen is one of these factors is going to cancel out with x plus 5. It won't necessarily always happen that way, but on this assignment it does happen that way. So, how's this factor? X and x, what multiplies into negative 10 adds up to 3. 5 and minus 2, right? So, what's going to happen is those factors will cancel out. It's just x minus 2. Maybe you should put a little side note, x can be negative 5. Divide by negative 5. But that's, those are real answers. Okay, here's a question. This applies to number 24. What if it had been g divided by h, like upside down? Okay, it still factors the same. I hope this is not 24 actually, is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, it's okay. So, it factors the same, but what's going to happen? It still cancels out. What do I put on top? Okay, if like 3 over 9, this cancels out. Right, that's a 1. So yeah, anything divided by itself, it's got to be at least a 1. So it's just 1 over. Yeah, kind of accidentally did that one.
Thank you, Mr. Joel.
I knew it was something like 23, but I didn't know which one it was.